Nice. Do you want to do a screen share and show us a little bit of Foundry? Do you have any maps or anything loaded?
Sure. Yeah, I can do that. Let me see
if
what
not, I could load my game as well that I was just playing this weekend.
Yeah, no problem. Let me see what I can do here. Okay, I think I am not able to share my screen because of a setting on the Zoom call, because it tells me
let me
host disabled participant screen sharing, but I don't know if that's something you can change, in which case I would be happy to.
I just turned it on.
Okay.
That always, I don't know why it defaults to that, but
I guess just, being a little bit safe. Are you able to see this coming through now?
Yes, looks good.
So this was actually that adventure that you were mentioning. I can set up another player account so that if you want, you can kind of join at the same time. And so this is just I'm going to go to configure players and I'll add
all right. Let me
user for you here. And I can give you, let me go back to Zoom real quick.
What's your URL you got there? Looks like Atro.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how I can get back to the Zoom chat, because I have it just in like a little pop-out mode now. I think it's something that it only shows me that while I'm screen sharing.
I think if you click down very top.
Got it. More chat. Here we go.
Yeah.
I just put a link in there for you.
Okay, cool.
That you can try and pop into. Let me give you permission to use one of these tokens. And then I'll explain to some folks what I'm doing here. So hopefully you should be able to see this map now. And I just gave you permission to one of these tokens that hopefully you'd be able to access.
Yes, I see that I'm on the map. I don't see my token though.
Right down at the very south side is this guy with the sort of red cloak.
Yeah, it showed up.
Okay, cool.
The fighter.
Yeah, so basically the way that this worked is I just gave Andrew a link and he sort of joined into my game. And this is the Clash at the Kobold Cauldron adventure that DM Dave published. It's this kind of cool sort of kobold distillery where I won't get into spoilers, I guess, but yeah, it's a pretty wild adventure. And so Foundry has like many concepts that are in place here. And some of those key organizational concepts are, one is scenes. So a scene is like a setting that you would use for a portion of your adventure. So I have many different scenes. Some of them can just be sort of vignettes, like this one where it just sort of shows a scene of this sort of dockside village, and you can use it to sort of set the mood and do some theater of the mind type work. The other can be actual sort of battle maps where, an encounter is supposed to take place. And you notice some like music kicked in there. All of the audio tools can be integrated to different scenes. So you have like different audio experiences while you're in the game. So this is like one where you'd maybe run a combat encounter. And that's the concept of scenes. So it's sort of what is the setting that you're experiencing in the game. Then you have the concept of actors, which are sort of the who. So who is taking action? These would be your characters, your NPCs. So this character here is the one that I just assigned. And he's sort of this is running the D&D 5e system, but you have many different game systems that you can be using just for the purposes of examples. This one's D&D. And so you have your character sheet, you have non-player characters, of course. So all of these non-player characters that you would be able to control and run, all of these little kobolds. You have items. I'll turn that music down just slightly. You have items. So all the different things that your heroes can encounter and find, and you'll notice that on the character sheet, there's like all of these different things in the inventory, like all of the different items that the hero has, all of the different class features that they can use. If they're a spellcaster, they might have spells. You've got a journal. So the journal entries here can give you all of the notes that you need for sort of running the adventure. So there's a sort of very robust journal system where I can see, what is it that I need to know? What is it that I need to keep track of? Some of that information can be shared with players. Some of it's all kind of has a fine-grained permission control system. So certain things can be private, certain things can be public. You've got role tables if you want to randomly automate like the selection of some content. Suppose I want to, randomly choose some sort of monster that the party's going to encounter. I can randomly roll off of this role table and I can choose some sort of dynamic programmatic content. Music, I already sort of showed this briefly when I switched over to it, but there's different audio controls for managing playlists, music, ambience, sound effects, all of that sort of things. There's lots of compendiums, so like all of the different, for example, spells that are allowed under the SRD, like all of the spells are here and pre-configured. You can just drag and drop them onto your character sheet, monsters as well. And then you have like content compendiums as well. Compendiums can contain lots of different types of content. So I can, for example, import some audio effects from, say, Michael Gelfi, who's a really talented composer. I can import some ambience, like musical playlists that can come in a compendium pack, and I can then like play the generic dungeon ambience. So there's lots of tools that you can use to kind of bring in additional content. Those compendium packs can even have sort of game ready maps. So here's an example from Tom Kartos, another really talented creator. I can import a map directly from a compendium, and then it's ready to go. I just activate it, and I'll put Andrew's token down so you can explore it. But here you are now. Just like 2 clicks of a button, and I have a game ready map where it's got all of the line of sight and the vision and the doors and stuff all sort of pre-configured and ready to go. So you can get kind of game content that would allow you to spin up an environment very quickly. And I can pull in some, say, monsters. Suppose I want to have some maybe cultists in this house. I can just drag and drop them in, and then I've got myself ready for a little encounter. I've just put some cultists who are conspiring in this house, and they're ready to kind of ambush the hero as he comes in. Additionally, it's a good chance to play a little bit of maybe forest sounds. We've got an outdoor scene here. Additionally, Foundry handles all of the dice rolling and combat mechanics and everything. So I can select all of these tokens and I can create a combat encounter. So what you're seeing here is a sort of simply tracked encounter where everyone can roll their initiative. I can roll initiative for these cultists. You see, I'm using that module that Andrew mentioned with the nice 3D dice that kind of visually roll those on the screen. That's just an option. It's just a module that you can use. But you'll notice that the combat tracker would handle all of the initiative rolls, and then you can advance your turns in combat, turns and rounds. Keep track of that very easily. Additionally, when it comes to dice rolling off of each character sheet, you can very easily roll different sorts of tests. So suppose this cultist needs to make a, say, dexterity saving throw. I can do that very easily off the sheet, and it will show the result in the chat log. Same thing with like weapons. So suppose they want to use a scimitar to, they move in to attack our hero. I don't know if a 21 hits you, but that sounds pretty promising. So you might be taking, say, 3 points of damage off of that. And all of the sort of health tracking can be managed very easily on the token. I can just subtract 3. I can add 3. I can do it through the chat log. There's lots of different options for like applying damage, applying healing, sort of easily keeping track of all of the bookkeeping that you need to keep track of during a combat encounter or just during general gameplay, so that it's hopefully easier for you as the dungeon master, or easier for your players to kind of stay focused on the narrative and the role playing and, portraying their characters and having fun with the situation, and maybe not needing to take as much time to kind of manage all of the bookkeeping that's necessary during the game. So there's like a little crash course. Go ahead.
Cool modules too. Like you can, one module I use is you can select an enemy to attack, and then you roll your attack, and it actually targets that enemy. Another thing I use is a DM. You can customize that combat tracker, and I put the ACs of everybody in there.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So I know, like, just what people's ACs are, the heroes and enemies and NPCs, whatever. It's all in there. There's a lot of customization. You can have little, like Roll20 has things where things pop out on characters. This has way more stuff you can stick on characters to add whatever. You can literally put whatever you want on the character tokens to know, like, what's their health, what's their whatever, different things. You can get modules where you add like way more stuff than that. I have a lot of stuff that I put on there.
Yeah, there's different, you can track sort of status effects that may be in place to sort of remember which actors have which temporary conditions. You've got ability to place different templates, which can help you understand the area of effect of different spells or abilities. So for example, I might have like a cone of attack. I can easily make a template, and I can drag it, I can rotate it, I can see exactly what amount of the space would be affected by this spell. There's many different template types. So there's your sort of standard sort of circular, like fireball type blast, a rectangle for different effects that might be, square or rectangle. You've got like a ray, as well as the cone. So just different ways to sort of measure different template areas. It's easy to place those. You just drag and drop. And then if you need to delete a template, you just kind of can hover over its control icon and press delete. All of this stuff can be configured. So anything that has a control icon like this, if you double click the icon, there's a full sort of configuration sheet where you can customize exactly what the thing looks like. So for example, I can even give my cone template like a nice sort of ice effect or something. Imagine this like a cone of cold spell or something. You can put textures and effects on your different template shapes. There's all kinds of cool stuff like this that you can do. In terms of other controls on the canvas itself, there's tiles. So tiles can allow you to drop just props into the world. So suppose I have, I'm trying to think if I actually have any. This is on a cloud host that I'm running, so I don't really have many tiles directly available at the moment, but I think I've got a couple. Okay, yeah, I have a couple maybe that I can use as props. I've just got some chairs and barrels. I can put some barrels. Suppose there's a stack of barrels in the middle of this house because these cultists are smuggling some rum or something. I can drag and drop these tiles right into the scene, and I can add some barrels to the house, or I can add a bench or something. Yeah, there's a bench outside for sitting in the garden. If you need to customize the look of your scene, tiles allow you to kind of add those sorts of props very quickly with this nice little browser.